gone 2 o'clock in the morning here in the UK. The first trailer for GTA 6 was released a few hours ago, early after a leak. And since then, I've been going over it countless times, slowly, frame by frame, to try to decipher some of the things we see in the trailer. So let's just get straight into it. This is a kind of breakdown of things I've noticed in the trailer. I'm sure there are other things I've missed. Please let me know if there are things you noticed, and also bear in mind that this game is very obviously set in a fictionalized version of Miami. I've never been to Miami. I've been to Florida a fair few times, but never Miami. So there may be things that I'm missing that are fairly obvious to people who live there, or even fairly obvious to Americans that might not be obvious to a British Australian guy. Anyway, so we start off with a song, Tom Petty, Love is a Long Road from 1989. So an 80s kind of song there from a well-known singer as well. Kind of 80s reflecting that Vice City vibe maybe. But the song Love is a Long Road, it's about a romance that's kind of coming to an end, a troubled romance that's come to an end. That could possibly be foreshadowing some sort of division between Lucia and Jason, who are the two main characters. There are a few things in this trailer that seem to suggest there could be some sort of trouble between them, which I think, you would kind of expect in this kind of game. But anyway, we'll get into that another time. But the very first thing we notice is this kind of nice sunset or sunrise shot on the outskirts of a city. We see buses, vans, cars pulling boats, lorry for Patriot Beer, which we've also seen in other GTA games. There's a plane in the sky, there are birds, and it's kind of on the outskirts of the city. There's maybe a dam or a bridge of some sort of facility in the middle there, maybe like a water treatment facility or something. I don't know. There's not much to see in this image, but it suggests it could be on the kind of outskirts of the city. Next, we're in a prison, very obviously a prison, and Lucia is being evaluated. She's in a prison jumpsuit which says inmate on the back. The front says LD something, I can't see the rest, but I am guessing that it says LDC, which would be Leonida Department of Corrections. And as we'll get into a lot in this video, I'm fairly certain that Leonida is the fictional name for Florida in this. I think Vice City is in the state of Leonida. So there are many things in this trailer that kind of give that impression. But Lucia's being evaluated by this woman in prison. Seems to suggest that she's only just got to prison. I thought maybe the beginning of the game would be her leaving prison or something like that, but I don't know. There's a lot to be discussed here that probably deserves its own video. But, we'll see. Next, we have some speedboats and a beach and a load of people on the beach with some birds, and this is where you kind of see the full scale of the city. It looks absolutely huge. I'm assuming this is Vice City. It looks like Miami. There are kind of apartment buildings or hotels or something at the front, and then loads of kind of high-rise buildings in the back. There's a plane pulling an advertisement. There are palm trees everywhere, and I mean, just look at the scale of this city. It looks absolutely huge, especially if you can kind of compare it with Los Santos in GTA 5. If you think about the number of kind of high-rise skyscraper buildings in that compared with this is a huge upgrade. So this looks really good, and I'm looking forward to exploring this city. Next, we have some more apartment buildings or hotels or something, and then we have an airboat on kind of a swampland, a fictional version of the Everglades, I'm guessing, and that's exciting to see because I kind of expected that, and it was in my predictions video that we would see something like this, so that's very exciting, and I'm sure that airboats will be something we'll get to drive in the game. Looks like someone might have a kind of rifle there for shooting alligators. Maybe They come equipped with guns or something, I don't know. Then we have a load of what look like flamingos and various other birds also in this kind of swamp wetland area. And there look to be maybe some other kind of animals in the back. I can't really work out if they're like deer or something like that. There's an alligator also in the bottom left corner. Next we have some people on the beach. Now this looks different to the beach shot before. So I mean, if you look in the kind of on the right hand side, you can see the beach goes really far down. So I don't know if we were at the other end of that same beach before, or if it's a different beach in a different city. I couldn't really work it out, to be honest. But I mean, I'm expecting a big beach and maybe even multiple beaches. But we've got jet skis here. We've got a car pulling a boat trailer that's kind of reversing or pulling out of the water. People on the beach, obviously. These umbrellas say Soul Sisters, SOL. We've got some helicopters in the sky, a plane. Oh, that's also I think it's a kind of a helicopter that can land on water in the top right. If we move along, we've got what looks like a dock area. We've got speedboats going past this container ship that says BTN Delmar on the side. And if you look above it, the kind of industrial equipment, I don't know what these things are called. Are they just cranes? But it says PVC SO. And having looked on Google Maps as well, this looks very much like it's the in-game version of Port Miami. That bridge in the background also lines up with a similar kind of expressway that goes over this area in Miami. So in real life it's called Port Miami, so I'm guessing PVC stands for Port Vice City. That would be my guess. Next we have someone driving down a highway out the top of a convertible, which makes me wonder, is this could very well just be something for the trailer, as we've seen before. Rockstar has done things in trailers that you can't do in the game, but can you kind of stand up in convertibles? I don't know, possibly. But more interestingly, the signs say various place names: Kelly County, VCI Airport, which I'm guessing is Vice City International Airport, Stockyard, Downtown, Catalan Boulevard, and then there's also I guess route signs, 404 west to 97. Next we have some kind of tricked out cars. Looks like maybe this green car looks like it could probably be a Chrysler 300C, maybe a Cadillac in front of us. I don't know my American cars that well, but then there's some muscle cars, some tricked out muscle cars, maybe a Chevy Impala or something like that. This green Chrysler looking car also makes another appearance later on in the trailer, which suggests to me maybe it could be one of the kind of side characters from GTA 6. It could belong to one of them rather, but this looks like it could be some kind of car meet, maybe a place where you can customize your cars. Lots of cool cars hanging around. There's also what looks to be a Range Rover, maybe those guys are standing at the back of, and this kind of goldish looking car looks like it could maybe be a Ford Crown Victoria or a Mercury Grand Marquis, maybe, I don't know. There are also a load of motorbikes as well. One of the cars looks also to have a number plate with a flamingo on it. So I guess that's quite fitting. Next we have Make It Rain Mondays, a kind of strip club bar type place. I'm fairly certain this is a place called the Jack of Hearts, which was leaked in the major footage leak last year. Looks like a few missions probably take place here, or maybe one of our contacts is based here. This is based on a real bar in Miami, I believe, or it's somewhere in Florida. This guy on the left is wearing what looks like maybe a band t-shirt. I think it says Dolls of Destruction, but I'm not entirely sure. Next up we have these guys. This guy has a load of gold teeth, gold chains, gold watches. Then we go to a view of the city at night, which I initially thought could be the kind of in-game version of Miami Beach, but then I looked closer at the bottom and realised there's a toll there, or what looks to be a toll, which I don't think there is one in Miami Beach, so I could be very wrong about this, and this could be some other part of Miami / Vice City, or indeed another location altogether. But we have obviously this main road with the toll on it. We have some apartment buildings. There's a tennis court, a large yacht on the right hand side, and then some other boats on the left hand side, and obviously a nice view of whichever city this is. It's quite hard to tell though. And in the next shot we have Ocean Drive, which we've seen before in Vice City and is kind of an iconic location. And we can actually see the Ocean View Hotel, which was in Vice City as well. You can see that it's a bit obscured behind those palm trees, but you can kind of see it. There's another hotel that's called Hotel Dixon at the back there, and this one on the left looks to be called Boardwalk. Maybe it's a bar. It looks probably like it's a hotel. Maybe it's a hotel and a bar. And then we've got some nice cars at the front here. There's a couple of Ferraris, a Porsche, and what looks to be maybe a Dodge Challenger. Obviously all in-game versions. But this white Ferrari kind of caught my attention because I think the number plate is Cheetah, which is the GTA version of a Ferrari Testarossa, and this version is obviously an older version, and I think this is inspired by the white Ferrari Testarossa in Miami Vice. I think that's what this is a reference to. I could be completely off with that, but I would say, considering that Miami Vice played a role in the kind of inspiration for GTA Vice City, I would say this probably is intentional. So this white Ferrari, or I think it's called a Grotti in-game Cheetah, is perhaps a reference to Miami Vice. And also looking closer at the number plate, you can see at the top it says Leonida, which is another thing that leads me to believe that Leonida is the name of the state in this game. On the right hand side we have some people walking down, and there's a guy maybe selling stuff or begging. I can't really work out. Looks like he's probably selling some artworks or something, but I don't think that's telling us too much. Next we're at some gig of some sort, some concert gig, a club, I can't really work it out, something like that. And then we get to what is very obviously the Florida Keys, or what I believe it's called in game, the Leonida Keys, because we see later on a sign that says Keys, and we know the state is probably called Leonida. So we see a seaplane on the right, some boats, the container ship, some smaller kind of islands, and you see the main overseas highway, the 7 Mile Bridge I think it's called, and the old railway bridge on the right there, which is an actual feature in the Florida Keys. There used to be a railway that ran through it. That railway has since been closed down, and there's the old bridge there and the newer highway bridge. So that's very obviously the GTA 6 take on the Florida Keys there. Next we're at some kind of rooftop bar with a pool or a spa or something. I assume this is in Vice City. We get another view of the city, and then we get this shot of a Vice sign, and I don't know if this is maybe a sign from a business or something, because as far as I'm aware there is no, this kind of looks like the Hollywood or Vinewood sign in a way, and as far as I'm aware there's no kind of equivalent of that sign in Miami. So maybe they've made one for the game and it says Vice, or maybe this is a sign from, a business that's called Vice something or whatever. I don't really know. Then we get into this weird kind of like TikTok video bit of the trailer, which kind of just shows off the type of characters really, and kind of sets the scene. And it's very Floridian, I guess you'd say. So first off, we've got Dad Bod Squad. I Puppy save some sugar baby for the rest of us. So I'm guessing this is a sugar daddy with all his kind of attractive young women partying on his boat. Some rich guy. And next we have a post from Official Poach, which stands for Protection of Animals and Controlled Hunting, according to the logo in the corner, if you zoom right in. This guy, he looks to be kind of getting this alligator out someone's pool, which is obviously something that does happen in Florida. Alligators kind of crawling into people's pools. But his uniform looks similar to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. So maybe that's what Poach is based on. I don't know. Next, we have a woman kind of twerking on top of a car as her friends are inside. I also wonder if this is hinting that we're going to be able to get on top of cars while they're driving, maybe. That's something that's not really been possible yet. Whether we'll be able to twerk on top of them is another thing, I don't know. Then we get into this kind of section where there are cars doing donuts in the street, maybe some street racing going on here. There's a kind of a supermarket of some sort, maybe, called What's Cooking, a grocery shop, I don't know. It says Se habla español, which roughly translates to we speak Spanish, so maybe it's a kind of Mexican, Hispanic kind of grocery store or something, which suggests, could possibly suggest that this is maybe in a kind of Hispanic part of the city, but it also, could just be anywhere, I suppose. We've got some sort of TikTok live performance here with these girls dancing. Then we get some CCTV footage of an alligator kind of wandering into a cafe of some sort. And you can see the Go Postal sign above the door, which is the postal service that's in GTA, as we've seen before. Next, we have some police body cam footage of what looks like a raid on a gang house or a gang safe house or a drug kind of stash house or something. I don't know, but it looks pretty cool. Then you get this footage of which is under the username Planet Leonida Man, which I think is basically a reference to Florida Man, Leonida Man and Florida Man. Another suggestion that Leonida is the name of the state in the game, and the police car on the left looks to say, I'm pretty sure it says Leonard County Sheriff, not Leonida. I think it says Leonard County Sheriff after examining it a lot, but again, I could be wrong. Another sign here on this video that it's called Leonida. Only in Leonida is a crotch grab and apology for bad driving. There's a few highway signs we can see in the background. They say Vice Beaches, Port VC, Port Vice City, I'm guessing. Keys, I'm guessing that's the Leonida Keys, if they're called that, the in-game version of the Florida Keys. VCI Airport again, Vice City International Airport, and Kelly County again. Next we have this green pickup truck, which says on the back Vice Vinyl, which could potentially be a custom shop. We also see on the back it says Wrap It Like It's Hot, Crosstown, and I think it says Ride Out Customs. And this is something that also appears again on that green Chrysler 300C that we saw earlier, and we'll see again. Ride Out Customs. The fact that this pickup truck is green, I don't know, maybe this guy owns both of them and he's some kind of character that we meet in game. But there's also the possibility that Ride Out Customs is kind of the version of LS Customs or Vice Vinyl, maybe the kind of pay and spray type shop. It says at the bottom here, R.I.P. Rudy, see you in heaven, cuz. I don't know if that's referencing something in game or not. Could be something completely different. Next, we have a man in a thong watering his garden, looking kind of tropical. The garden, that is. Then we have these guys covered in mud, drinking beer, surrounded by kind of trucks, quad bikes, monster trucks. and it says at the bottom, Thrillbilly Mud Club. This is apparently an actual thing that some people do in Florida, where they go to these places covered in mud and party and drive around and stuff. We've got quad bikes, monster trucks and stuff, as I said. This also looks to be in kind of a very rural area. You can't really see any buildings in the background, but it's also obviously looking quite cloudy, but quite a foresty area of the map, obviously. Then we have this video from Lucha Libre fan. It's a woman with 2 hammers, and I've got to say, this looks very good. This looks like it almost looks real. And at the bottom it says, neighborhood watch, don't play around in Hamlet, which is an area that was kind of identified in these leaks last year. Hamlet, from the look of the background and the woman, it looks like it's probably not going to be a very nice area, but I don't know. That's just going off that one clip. Also, the woman says, look who's back. That could just be a throwaway line, or it could this woman could be some sort of side character, or maybe knows the main character somehow. Maybe it's Jason's mum. I don't know. That's a bit of a long shot, but yeah, maybe it's nothing, but she could kind of be involved in the story somehow with a kind of line like "Look who's back" suggests that there's more to it, maybe. Then we have this kind of party. This guy gets thrown on this trestle table. And then we have this quite good shot of Jason and Lucia driving past these police sheriff cars. And they've got bandanas on and they've got money with them, suggesting that these police cars are going the other way with their sirens and lights on, suggesting that Jason and Lucia have just done a robbery and they're playing it cool as they go past these police cars. There's also a billboard advertising Angstapan, it looks like it's called, which I think is supposed to be some sort of antidepressive drug or something in the game. And there's this large sign on the right-hand side, which looks like it could be for like a shopping centre or something. I can't read all the names on it, but there's one called Kowalska, Callus, Scala, and Alpha. Those are the names I could make out. So I suppose that's kind of a shopping centre or an outlet centre or something. Next we have some Weasel news footage, and at the bottom it says, cops arrest man who flipped his car after Pee-wee's Dine and Dash. So I would guess that Pee-wee's is a restaurant maybe, or a kind of takeaway place or something in GTA 6. We also have these 2 cars, which I only noticed the first one at first, but then I realised there were 2, and I thought maybe these lights were some sort of kind of customizable things that you could put in your car, but I think these are 2 police cars at the scene of this crash. Next we have some more kind of news footage. This time it's from what appears to be the kind of Spanish language news channel. And before this lower third pops up at the bottom, you can see the full badge behind this guy, basically. And it says corrections at the top, sheriff's office, deputy sheriff, Vice-Dale County. And I think Vice-Dale County is basically a reference to Miami-Dade County, which is the county in Miami. And then this Spanish language Aston at the bottom basically refers to this guy with the purple hair and the tattoo across his face, and it says at the end, man from Leonida. So it suggests that, again, this state is called Leonida. I think that's pretty clear at this point. On the badge you can also see what I assume is the seal of the state or the county, which looks kind of similar to the Florida seal. It appears to be a woman. There's a sun shining in the background. She's on a beach. Maybe there's someone beside her kneeling, I think. There appears to be an alligator. There's a palm tree and a snake in it. Maybe the people are supposed to be Adam and Eve, I don't know. And there looks like there might be a kind of cruise ship or something in the background. Obviously, we know the flags and the seals, these kinds of things in the GTA universe often just poke fun at the real thing. They're not usually serious things. Next, we've got some guys on dirt bikes and quad bikes driving through this kind of suburban street, maybe like a inner city neighborhood somewhere. There's a kind of food depot in the background, and in the next shot we have a Weasel News, obviously Fox News, the GTA version of Fox News, shot of these motorbike riders just terrorizing Vice City, as it says, and the police failing to stop them. Apparently this is an actual thing in Miami. Guys just ride around the city on dirt bikes and quad bikes. So obviously a lot of research went into making this. The Aston at the bottom, the ticker also mentions another Leonida man, this time sucked up in waterspout, demands the city buy him a new suit. So, further proof there that the state's called Leonida. Also, at this point in the voiceover, we hear Lucia and Jason, or Lucia saying, "The only way we're going to get through this is by sticking together, being a team." So that's another kind of, this is just another of the references to kind of them sticking together and being a team, as it says, which suggests that maybe, there is some friction at some point where something comes between them and they're carrying out these robberies and something happens, or, who knows? I mean, I've got this theory in my head that maybe one of them is approached by kind of the cops and urged to snitch on the other, maybe. And I think something at some point in this story is going to come between them, and you'll have to maybe choose a side, or maybe it doesn't even come to that. Maybe, who knows what's going to happen. That's obviously wildly speculative. Next, we have High Rollers Lifestyle. I think that logo in the bottom left is kind of the version of Instagram in GTA 6, probably. And then High Rollers is what, like a magazine? It says mag. I don't know, something like that. But more interestingly, the pickup truck on the right has what appears to be a box of records in the back, and the livery says Sound for Sound. So my first thought was maybe this is a record shop. I first thought Sound for Sound was maybe kind of a music, a radio station or something like that, but then I saw the box, which looks like it has records in it, so I thought maybe that's a record shop. And on the left-hand side, we then see again the Chrysler 300C, that green Chrysler 300C, which appears to say raised by, what was it saying before? Raised by Rideout Customs, which is again another mention of that customs shop, which we could end up using in game. The number plate also says PMP, which I think is the name of that car in the GTA universe. The 300C is called the PMP something or other. There are a few billboards around here, but more interestingly, there's a sign on the left-hand side that says Waning Sands and points north. So that's obviously maybe an area of Vice City or another town or city. Next, we have this shot of Jason and Lucia very obviously robbing an off-license, or I suppose a liquor store as you'd call it in the US. They've got their bandanas on. Jason has some cash in his hand, so I don't know if... It looks like they're about to commit the robbery, but he's already got cash in his hand, which suggests maybe they've already done it. I don't know. Obviously loads of liquor bottles and E-Cola, Pisswasser, lager beer, that kind of stuff we've seen before. In the next shot, we get a shot of what I assume is Jason and Lucia's car, which they kind of go around committing these robberies in from. And they're pulling out of a gun pawn shop, which actually as they go around the corner, you can see it's in Port Gellhorn, another location which was kind of revealed in those leaks last year. Maybe they've either just... the speed they're going out there suggests that... And they've got their bandanas around their necks again. That suggests that they've just robbed this gun pawn shop, but I suppose they also could be selling stolen goods there. Who knows? There's a shoe shop in the background here, and there's also a load of bumper stickers on the back of Jason and Lucia's car here, but I can't read all of them. One says Caesar, one says Save the Bees. Next we have Lucia and Jason, both half naked, and this looks to me like a motel room, maybe. It has that kind of motel room look about it with the wood panelled walls as well, which kind of goes along with my theory that they kind of go from, much like as they've been billed as like Bonnie and Clyde, they kind of go from location to location, robbing places and then moving on to the next place. So maybe we'll have a situation where we'll be staying at lots of motels. We'll kind of rob a place, then move to the next place, and we'll have to stay there and rob a place there. I don't know. That's just my whole kind of Bonnie and Clyde thinking behind this, and the fact that this looks like it's a motel. There's even kind of a poster on the wall there, which looks like it might be in a motel. Yeah, but I mean, the whole Bonnie and Clyde thing could also be just a way of marketing the fact that it's a couple who go around committing robberies. It doesn't necessarily mean anything more than that. But here, Lucia says trust, and Jason says trust. So another kind of mention of them having to stick together and trusting each other. So another kind of suggestion here that there will be some kind of division between them, and maybe at this point, I mean, just looking at them, maybe something's happened and they're not entirely sure they can trust each other, or Lucia's not entirely sure she can trust Jason, or maybe the other way around, something like that. But I think, you know, this trailer, if there's one thing I've kind of learned from this trailer, besides the fact that the state is called Leonida, it's that something probably comes in between these two that causes some division and will probably cause a main conflict in the story, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Next, we have this last shot of them breaking through the doors at Uncle Jack's Liquor, and you see that car in the background again, and they've got their bandanas on, and they pull out their guns, and they're obviously committing a robbery there. Suggesting, I think another thing that you kind of get from this trailer is that there is going to be a big focus on store robberies and stuff like that, which is, you know, something that we kind of speculated about before. So that'll be really interesting, and seeing how their relationship plays into that and what the story is altogether. Next, we obviously get the GTA 6 logo, finally, after all these years and all these like terrible mocked up logos that people have done. We see it finally there with the palm trees and the nice blue, pink, yellow gradient, and we see that it's coming in 2025. 2 years away. Well, probably not 2 full years, but obviously this is the end of 2023. We're getting this trailer, so we've got a fair amount of time to wait. But that gives us plenty of time to speculate about what we could be getting in this game. So those are my thoughts on this first trailer, my breakdown of scene by scene, shot by shot. If you think I missed something, please do let me know. If there's anything you noticed, I'm keen to hear that. Let's have a proper discussion about it. And until the next trailer, we'll just have to kind of rewatch this over and over and see what we find.